Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30. Today is October the 6th, and we're ready to begin our special board meeting. Before we begin, just for reference, everyone would know Dr. Paluski is on personal leave for a couple of days, well deserved. He left us in great, capable hands. So welcome, Dr. Hooper.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. We always begin the meeting with public comments. Are there any public comments? There being none, this meeting is called to order. Roll call, Ms. Colquitt.
Dr. Reddish.
Here.
Mrs. Williams.
Here.
Person West. Mrs. Temple.
Here.
Mrs. Wonkum.
Here.
Mrs. McLean.
Here.
Mr. Still.
Thank you. Please join me in executive closed session to discuss employment, appointment, promotion, or resignation of an employee.
Now be careful of this cord.
Oh, we're back in session. I'll entertain a motion for 5.1, employment of personnel.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I so
ma'am.
move that we accept the recommendation for personnel for 5.1 employment.
Second.
It has been properly moved that we accept the employment of personnel presented to us. Being that it is employment of personnel, there can be no discussion, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. It has been adopted. 5.2, community service learning partner application.
So, Madam President and members of the board, on behalf of Dr. Paluski, I would like to recommend the approval of item 5.2, Community Service Learning Center. And as a reminder, this is a community partnership that would provide students local credit for community service. All high school students are eligible for this credit. In addition to that, students that are wanting to graduate with honors are required for this partnership.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I so move that we accept the 5.2 Community Service Learning Partner application.
Second.
It has been properly moved that we accept 5.2, community service learning partner application. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It has been adopted. Facilities use request.
So, Madam President and members of the board, on behalf of Dr. Paluski, I would like to recommend the approval of item 5.3, the facilities usage for the North Little Rock Youth Football League.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I so move that we accept the recommendation for facility use to request of the youth football for October 8th.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that we accept the facilities use request presented to us. Any discussion?
I would like to note that is homecoming and that is Saturday. Outside of that, we're good to go. As long as everyone is good that it's homecoming day, nothing coincides, we're fine.
Any further discussion?
I would just like to make a comment to
Yes.
Ms. Brown. I would commend you and Ms. Coble for those 18 pages when they asked for the documentation July 7th, and you all had 18 pages of communication to make sure that the building was secure and that those athletes could have the building from 8 to 3, and you did a magnificent job. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It has been adopted. I will entertain a motion to adjourn and go into workshop.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All righty, let's switch over. We are now in workshop. There's only 2 items on informational items. I turn it over.
So, Madam President and members of the board, I would like to welcome Mr. Brian Brown and Mr. Robert Glover and his colleagues as they present on Synergistic Energy Cost Savings Program and Review.
Thank you, Dr. Hooper, and members of the board. 3 years ago, the board approved a partnership between the district and Synergistics to embark on energy savings, and we have annually brought you an update on where we stand on that savings. So tonight, they're here to present quick information to you on the savings status. We're in our 3rd of our 4th year. So I want to introduce to you Robert Glover. You all know him. He's a former member of our district, but he's also our energy specialist. Also Jesse Coulter. He's Robert's supervisor and our manager for our district, and also Carrie DuBose. She's a regional vice president from Synergistics, and they're here to present some updated savings information to you.
Sounds good.
First off, Dr. Cooper and board, I just want to thank you for having us here to give you guys an update of where we're at in this 3rd year, and then also to recognize some achievements that you guys have that you've definitely deserved throughout the district of what Robert and the entire team here has done for the energy program. So a brief total cost avoidance we've reached here during this time has been $2.24 million. And what cost avoidance is, it's just the cost of energy that's not used. And so to kind of give a quick example of what that is, if you have a building that has about 100,000 kilowatt hour usage and it's been reduced by about 50,000 hours, then we take the 50,000 hours that wasn't used and we multiply that times the kilowatt hours, the annual use for that. And so if you reduce that by 5,000 or 50,000 and you multiply that by 10 cents, that would be about $5,000. And so that's how we kind of get that calculation. And so for the entire district in the 3 years, it's well over $2 million, which is a reduction of 28 or a cost avoidance of 28%, which is it's great. And so what that actually means for the district is all the electricity and natural gas that's been saved would run all of your buildings within the district for 1.23 years just within those savings. And so that's another way of measuring it. And then we also measure by KBTUs, and that's natural gas and electricity together. And the reduction that has happened over the time per square foot is 36.3% per square foot. So just want to recognize the efforts that have gone through to get to this. And so next, what we want to do is we want to recognize some of the buildings. So we have banners for the buildings that have done the best. And so we're going to do that now. So the first building we want to recognize is Glenview Elementary School, who is one of the smaller buildings, but one of the
Take a picture with
We kept this a secret. We kept this a secret from the building principals. They didn't know why.
And next, we want to recognize North Little Rock Middle School.
that is great.
And then we want to recognize North Little Rock High School as well. And then we have a large banner for the entire district with the total savings of $2.2 million. And so we'll pass that on to Brian as well, so we'll keep off to the side here. Additionally to that, we have a large trophy for the district. It's
Awesome.
for best in class. So when we do recognize districts, we have several different options, and ones that do extremely well are the best in class, which is the top 10% within our client mix. And so you guys have hit that mark. And part of that is not just this trophy, but we also have a $2,500 check for your Center of Excellence, which
Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's for her and her staff, to use for supplies or whatever they need. But for the past 2 years, they have made 100% on their checklist. Every time that we've gone into a break or whatever, they've gone through and done everything they should have done. And she always asks for the checklist a week in advance so that she can address with her staff in the staff meetings. So that's what
Thank
we
you,
look for.
Rob.
Awesome.
Let Dr. Hooper hold it. Let Dr. Hooper hold that.
Yep, and that's for Dr. Cooper.
Boy, that's
Saving money.
Banner.
Stand up there.
Great jobs, you guys. Are your parents here with you?
Good job.
Boy, that's sweet. Sometime I might have paid off, doesn't it?
Good job.
No, thank you.
We got a surprise. No, we have, Mr. Barnes has worked with us, and I had him put together a video for our awareness energy program. So we're gonna show that to you right now. Probably the hardest part of starting the energy program was getting everybody, in the mindset of saving energy. Like turning off the lights when they leave a room. Everybody just thinks, oh, they're new schools, they just go off by themselves. So I'm the one that's out there letting them know about the program and telling them what they can do about, about saving energy and what the energy program really is all about. Coming around and asking them, how's your room, if you're comfortable. First year, we were looking at the cost of one. It's usually rough starting out the first year. I think we started off with 18%, and after that we kind of grew by 5 or 6%. Well, this fourth year, we are up to 36% savings in the overall district.
Prior to Synergistics, we're running us over $2 million annually. Since we have implemented the program and implemented all the energy conservation recommendations from Synergistics, we're spending less than $1.6 million annually.
It goes right here. 7.
But even as energy costs have risen, our energy expense has went down, and that's due to the energy conservation efforts that we've employed here.
We do setbacks on holidays and Christmas and stuff like that. So we try to get everybody to unplug everything in their room so that the district's not just wasting that energy with stuff running and nobody here for a week or two.
There you go. We look at what Mr. Glover sends out, it's what he expects. I share it with my teachers. My teachers help each other teachers out. We make copies of it. The teachers show them what needs to be done. They mark on it, and then they tape it on the outside of the door. So Mr. Glover comes in, he can see what they addressed, and he just double checks it, and it makes it easier for everybody. We want to be able to do what's right by the kids, what's right by the community. And if we are conscientious and everything we do is intentional to make sure that the rooms are closed down and we're not just wasting even the smallest amount of energy, because when you have such a big district, the littles add up to bigs.
Of course, our goal here is to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars when it comes to all expenditures. So energy conservation, if we're saving money from energy conservation, we can reinvest that in teacher salaries, supplies for kids, supplies for teachers in the classroom. They can be those saved dollars can be redeployed to other needed areas.
It's really important to conserve energy now, especially whenever the utility costs are high, but it also makes everybody more mindful of the bills and the savings that is produced by conserving energy.
Thank you.
Robert, what's that little gun thing do? What's that little thing that you
I
shoot?
give you the temperature reading
Oh, okay.
about air coming out of returns or what's coming in.
I've seen you use it, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We also have a CO2 meter that we use for games and stuff, volleyball and basketball games, so we can monitor the CO2 levels inside the building.
Can I take y'all back to 1987
Oh, no.
at Lynch Drive Elementary? And one evening, Robert came back to the school. I was there. We had some parents that worked for Alltel, I think it was, and we were trying to get connected to the science listserv that had started in the state of Arkansas. And I was determined that we were going to be able to see an email pop up somehow on this listserv, and we were out there probably till 10 p.m. and I'll be, boom, after everybody was working on it, Robert probably the hardest, because you are always the hardest worker when you're trying to get something done. It came, bam, we were in. And I was so happy, we were all happy, and so proud to be able to do that. And look where you are now, Robert Glover. I am so proud of you. I have watched you through the years. You have grown in so many ways and all the things that you could do. I mean, didn't you start out working with phones?
Yep.
And the knowledge that you have amassed over the years is just incredible, and we're very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good job.
Me too, Robert.
We go back to.
Thank you for all that you do.
You're welcome, North Little Rock.
Alrighty, and thank you for the recognition, Mr. Glover and colleagues, synergistic. Madam President and members of the board, I would like to welcome Mr. Hunter Nannon along with our other colleagues, Ms. Amy Jordan and Ms. Tracy Lightfoot, as they support him in the presentation of the district Chromebook purchase informational item.
This is great.
Don't jinx it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Dr. Redis, members of the board. I see you all the time. I don't get on the mic that much, but hello, hello. What's so funny about me, Ms. Wongum? So, we're here today to inform you on our Chromebook replacement that needs to occur. This is kind of one of those annual things we got to do pretty regularly, and we just wanted to go over some of the information, give you some numbers, keep you well informed. So we need to purchase some 2-in-1 Chromebooks again. Those are your touch Chromebooks like what we just did a purchase of. We're needing to purchase a couple more of them specifically for kindergarten classes that grew by 80 students, around 80 students this year, to accommodate them. We also are purchasing a set for self-contained classrooms for SPED. Those are going to replace old iPads and to kind of continue with that theme of standardization and keeping it universal, which will also work better for inclusion too if these students transition and so forth. Charging carts will also be to accommodate these specific units because they are completely new additions, whereas what we will continue on to next are replacement units. So these are our replacement units, 3110s. They are not touchscreen, they're just normal. They're what we'll be purchasing for most school districts, and we'll go through distribution and whatnot. But the reason we're purchasing these is because a good portion of the Chromebooks that are out there have run out of date. They won't receive updates further. We can't do ACT Aspire on them. We can't use programs that we commonly use like Lexia. So we need to go ahead and get rid of those. Well, not necessarily get rid of them, but go ahead and replace them. We do keep a lot of these old ones around for students that continually break Chromebooks, so forth. And it's like, here's an old one. But we keep them around when, just for those instances, but we still need to purchase. And on top of that, we will be getting 1,000 Chromebook chargers. That's going to accommodate ones that have been broken from sets that have been purchased earlier, as well as to alleviate some stresses when it comes to abrupt having to change from going to virtual for snowstorm, etc., because all our chargers are built up in Chromebook carts and we can't rip all those out in a less than 8-hour period to send out with the kids to go home for a snow day. So on here are the quotes. Everything is going to be coming out of ARP ESSER. We have at the top your normal Dell Chromebook. That is going to be 1,404 units. What is good to note is the Google Chrome Education upgrade right there. That's the warranty for the units. You'll see that for both the top Dell CTO 3110, and then you'll see that as well for the Dell CTO 3110 Touch. Those are just warranty for both of those units. Then you have our Anywhere 30 bay carts and our 45-watt USB-C chargers for the Chromebook devices. And we're looking at $688,000 and some change for this entire refresh. And it is good to note too, this will bring us completely, all students will be using newer up-to-date Chromebooks. No more ones that have been around forever. Will finally be all on new stuff. So this is going to be distribution of all the units. As you can see, kindergartners specifically is going to be Ridge Road, Boone Park, Indian Hills. Those are where we saw some of the growth. You have our self-contained classrooms where the need was, that was worked through SPED, where those units needed to be acquired. Then the rest is dispersal based on school feedback, what they told us, how many they needed through working with their media specialists. Just going down Meadow Park 85, 7th Street 20, Ridge Road 80, Boone Park 30, Academy didn't need any, Indian Hills 222. And this is dispersed this way because we have done refreshes, and some schools were completely all good to go, and now we're just getting the rest of them. And that's a quick rundown. I went kind of quick. You got any questions?
You did wonderful.
Hit me up, but yeah.
Ms. McLean, do you have any questions? Ms. Temple?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how often do you use the warranty?
Pretty often. It is a very much, we'd spend a lot more money if we didn't have the warranty.
Okay.
I'll say that. We use it, we do quite a lot. It's how we get replacement parts and so forth.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Williams?
I just want to ask Mr. Brown a question. You know, we had the issues last year with children broken Chromebooks, and they were responsible for paying for those Chromebooks. What has been put in place, because number one, you couldn't do Title IX poverty students charging for Chromebooks that were broken. And so what has been put in place now, is that still in place? And it hasn't come before the board. Mr. Brown, not you, Hunter.
I don't know, I don't know the update on that status. I do know, I think that was back when Ms. Smith and Dr. White and Mr. Staggers were here. I'm not sure about the status of that, but I can get that information for you and let you know.
Well, I would just like to make sure that we as a board is doing the right things for children, and if we're out of compliance charging them for broken Chromebooks, that needs to be corrected. And I know they were saying, well, if they tear them up, they ought to pay for them, but if one of those titles, I'm not sure, that's what I'm saying, Title I, all of our schools are poverty. So if that's the case, nobody should be charged for any broken Chromebook. That's my thought. And so I would, not to you, Wanda, because you were not here, but I know Mr. Brown was more familiar with it, but you were here when it was going on.
I can speak to some of what's currently going on. So we do have a policy. It's a $50 charge for continuously broken, but there's a form that they check out and they get, but that is more of it's not a hard hammer. It's typically viewed as a case-by-case basis within the school district, within the principals, within the media specialists, and within the teachers who actually understand their students better. So if this is a high-poverty child, they're not going to be trying to collect the money from them. It's not like they're going down and knocking down doors to try and get it. If this child and their family can reasonably provide and follow up on this contract that they signed, yes, but we're not going in after kids that can't actually pay for it. We would never do that. And to kind of get around the situation of, well, we still need to pay for them, that is also why we keep around those old Chromebooks, because these new Chromebooks under warranty, yes, we can get them fixed, and depending on, like, say they break the screen 3 times, well, we only get 3 times to fix it, and then we can't send it off anymore, we can't get parts anymore, because they're like, you've broken it too much. It's like, okay, well, if a child has broken a Chromebook twice in a row, you're getting an old Chromebook. You're going to work on this. Testing time comes around, we'll give you a nice one, you can work on that. But to get around, keep continuously losing money and not being able to collect on that, that's kind of the route we've taken. It's that.
Okay, all right, I'm fine. I heard what you said, but I know it may happen more with high school students, Hunter. I know you all take care of the low, but really, would you look into that? Because as a board, if we set policies, we need to follow policy. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
And if we're not doing right, it can be corrected, because we'd have to look at other ways that we can pay for Chromebooks that are damaged or lost. And I heard what you said, there's a warranty on the, but you know, they may wear out the warranty, you know what I'm saying? So just being fair and
There's a way,
expert, thank you.
there's a
Thank you.
way, you know, they can make it happen.
Thank you for your report, and thank you two people sitting there that told you what to do.
Hey, I told them they're here to make the panel look prettier, to make my ugly mug look better, so.
Ms. Wonkum,
I'm all set.
Okay.
just a follow-up question, I guess. On the ones that we're keeping, eventually they wear out. What do we do with them?
So we have these gigantic boxes that we send out for recycling, and we get paid back for those. But a lot of them, like if they do even wear out, we keep a good amount. We do get rid of them time by time, depending on how much is at a campus. But we'll keep a lot around just for spare parts to even keep the old ones going, just to keep working on them. We really try to get our life out of them, and my techs, give them the credit. They keep those suckers going, but that's typically what we do. But yeah, you could come down to my office and you'll see these gigantic boxes where we send it all off for recycling.
Gotcha. Nothing else? Thank you for your report.
6:03.
That being it, there is nothing else on the agenda. I want it wrote down in record that this is the first time in a very long time that we ended in 30 minutes. Have a good evening.